Hi IndyCar family, I'm IndyCar Dad, your host for the IndyCar news in 5 minutes. I read and watch everything IndyCar from the past week and then I summarize it for you in 5 minutes. So the big news is Nashville was a great race in my opinion. It just took 27 extra hours to start. So I still enjoyed the heck of the race, but boy was that inconvenient. I really wanted to see it follow the World Cup final, but Monday afternoon is not the greatest, but it's still put out a good product. So, in my last podcast, I usually do, these days I've been doing a preview where I tell you which drivers will be sort of fun to watch, which drivers will have dramatic races either because they do really well or they have the potential to do really poorly or they're under a lot of pressure. So let's review some of the people that I highlighted. I highlighted Newgarden, McLaughlin, Kirkwood, and Dixon. Those are guys that had the best average finishes at this race, and Newgarden, McLaughlin, Kirkwood, and Dixon all did very interesting things. Dixon didn't have a great result. Kirkwood finished 10th, but he did run up front, and Newgarden and McLaughlin finished second and fourth. So, I also told you that RLL, Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan, would struggle, and goddamn if they didn't. Graham Rahal and Louis Foster were roadblocks at the end, and Graham Rahal was a roadblock for the entire race. Graham especially, his car was just plain ugly. I also warned you that Christian Lundgaard needed to do something to sort of preserve his career trajectory. He really needed to show some performance at ovals because the reason McLaren's getting rid of him is because he doesn't have oval performance. Well, Christian Lundgaard did nothing of the sort. He really performed poorly all weekend. In every session, he was very slow. He hung on the lead lap during the race, so he finished on the lead lap, but I think his finish was like 16th, which is not the kind of result you get when you're McLaren and when your teammates are running way ahead of you. So I think really that kind of puts Lundgaard's future as either for having both a lucrative contract and a top ride in jeopardy. He just wasn't where he needed to be. As for more silly season stuff, the more we get into the silly season, the more we all sort of realize that Chip Ganassi really is sitting in the best seat in the house. He's got a great car. He has a choice of drivers. I mean, he's got drivers within the series that he could choose. He could choose Lundgaard. He could choose Rinus VeeKay. If he was quick, he could probably get Marcus Ericsson to join back with the team. But also, Chip is not afraid to go outside the series. He's brought drivers in from Super Formula, and definitely Formula 2 has a bunch of drivers because the Formula 1 seats aren't getting filled. And even when they do fill them, they take guys like Kimi Antonelli all the way up. So there's a lot of skilled F2 drivers out there that might bring lots of money and pay Chip Ganassi to drive in a fully sponsored car in the number 9. So Chip's really sitting in a great position, and I don't think there's any pressure for him to actually make a signing. So I don't think we're going to hear about that 9 car for a long time. So that's where I sit on that. Let's go over the results. First place, Alex Palou won the race, had a great weekend. His team won the soccer match, and then he won the race. Joseph Newgarden had a strong finish in second. David Malukas came all the way from the back of the field to finish third, and Scott McLaughlin made it a Penske 2-3-4 finish, which is a great result. Felix Rosenqvist in fifth, Marcus Ericsson in sixth as the top Andretti car. Pato was seventh as the top McLaren. Mick Schumacher was eighth, a great result for Mick. He ran up front or in the top 10 for most of the race. He did very well. Kiffin Simpson in ninth. It looked like he could have been even in the top 2 or 3 at one point, but they had to double pit him for some reason. And Kirkwood finished 10th. So our top rookie for the week was Mick Schumacher in 8th. Kyle Collette was the first person to crash out, so he finished 25th. Dennis Hauger went out a little later and finished in 21st. So Mick beat him real bad, but Hauger still leads the Rookie of the Year points, and Mick is still in last place. So we do winners and losers every week. Winners this week, Alex Palou, his soccer team wins, then he won, a great weekend. Penske, I think, did really well with a 2-3-4 finish, which is pretty great, and Mick Schumacher. So losers, Rahal. Am I referring to the team or the driver? Yeah, that's what. I'm referring to Rahal. If your name was Rahal, whether you're a race team or a race car driver, you had a terrible weekend. So, Christian Rasmussen, I don't want to hate any of the drivers, and I don't dislike Christian Rasmussen as a person, but I cannot see why you would hire this guy. And he got his contract renewed early in the year. Everyone's like, oh, he's magic on short ovals. Really? He's magic on short ovals? Because he's crashed on 2 of them this year. He crashed out in Phoenix, and he crashed out in this race. And everybody could see it happening. He almost crashed out 3 times before he actually crashed out. So he's driving recklessly. That's all I can say about that. And Christian Lundgaard, we talked about why he is a loser this weekend. So, what's coming up next? Portland's coming up next. They have 13 days, I would say 2 weeks, but 13 days until the race out west. And I'm sure there's going to be more silly season rumors flying, but I can't comment on those. Nobody tells me any secrets, and I'm not in the mood to make anything up. That's not how I do this. So anyway, I'm IndyCar Dad. You can find me doing silly things on Instagram and TikTok as at IndyCar Dad. And you can find my podcast on all of the podcast networks. Thanks for following. I really appreciate it.